This program is presented by WGBH Boston in co-production with KERA Dallas-Fort Worth, with grants from the Dun & Bradstreet Corporation, Merrill Lynch Pierce Fenner & Smith Incorporated, Arthur D. Little Incorporated, Charles E. Culpeper Foundation, the Arthur Vining Davis Foundations, and the William and Mary Grieve Foundation. Enterprise is co-produced with Learning Corporation of America.
Can you turn it around?
I'd say we still got a better than a 50% chance. What do you think?
I'll get the attorneys down here from New York and let's get on with it.
Braniff International was the nation's 8th largest airline and $1 billion company. How could it go bankrupt when it had the support of an entire city and the leadership of a man who left one of the world's most profitable airlines to rescue it? This week on Enterprise, Tailspin.
I'm Eric Severide. It may be calm in here, but outside the airline industry, among others, is caught in a terrible crosswind. Fewer passengers are flying at a time when costs are high and fares are low. Losses are in the hundreds of millions. A few years ago, it was inconceivable that this could happen. That's because the industry was regulated by the government, which allocated routes and set fares to try to guarantee all the airlines a profit. There were no cries for free enterprise here. But in '79, Congress began deregulating the industry, and what had been a gentlemanly business became a rough and tumble one. Dozens of new airlines started up, price wars erupted, and the economy soured. This week on Enterprise, we look at deregulation's greatest victim, Braniff International, as it struggled desperately to stay in the air.
In 1965, Braniff painted its planes 7 different colors and had Pucci dress the hostesses.
The man responsible for the airstrip and the end of the plane was Harding Lawrence, appointed president of Braniff International in 1965.
Today we added the flags of 3 more nations, Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands.
In Lawrence's first 2 years, profits tripled and the number of miles flown doubled.
When you got it, flaunt it.
Braniff International. When you got it, want it.
Lawrence's style was well suited to Dallas, which immodestly bills itself as a city without limits. Since Braniff was the only major hometown airline, the airport authority built for it a Texas-sized headquarters. Annual rent, $6 million.
When you got it, flaunt it.
Braniff takes the next firm step to greatness. It is time to...
When deregulation began in 1979, Lawrence tried to fulfill his Texas-sized dream of a Braniff empire. Overnight, the airline increased its routes by 50% and borrowed heavily. Lawrence bet the company and lost. Braniff flew right into the recession. By late 1981, it owed more than $700 million and had no credit whatsoever. Harding Lawrence was out, and this man, Howard Putnam, was in. At age 44, Putnam left a secure job as president of Southwest Airlines to rescue Braniff.
Hello, Gordo.
Southwest was already an outstanding airline when we got there. And all we did at Southwest was take something that was smaller and triple it in size, triple it in profitability. Really didn't change much. I guess that's why they were interested in us coming to Braniff.
Braniff offered Putnam $250,000 a year and enough stock options to make him a wealthy man if he could turn it around. For Braniff's employees, he was the last hope. Nearly 1/4 of them had already been laid off.
How you doing, Howard Putnam? Clinky. Nice meeting you, sir.
Some people would say to you that my personal risk is very low. That if we don't turn it around, they'll say, good old Howard tried. It was too late anyway. If we do turn it around, why, you can't lose from that score. What are the stakes? If we don't make it, I'll be out of a job.
How are you doing? How are you?
The company Putnam took over had so many problems, it was hard to know where to begin. Braniff had acquired a reputation for poor service during its rapid expansion. Its labor costs were high, even after the layoffs. Its fixed costs, like fuel, were $90 million a month, whether the planes flew empty or full. Braniff needed more business at a time when the industry had too many seats and too few passengers.
We lost our credit over a year ago. So every Thursday we have to dig up about $7 million to pay for next week's fuel. And every other Thursday we have to come up with about $15 million to meet the payroll. So we have some definite ups and downs. If a day comes that we're not able to do that on our own, that's it. It's all over.
Putnam eliminated first class to make room for more passengers and slashed fares in half to attract them. He also bargained for concessions from Braniff's unions. He called his strategy Texas Class.
All of our airplanes now are the same, the 727 200s. All have 146 seats, all have extra carry-on racks. They all have extra leg room compared to other airlines' coach sections. We have simplified the fare structure. We took Braniff's complicated fare structure, like other airlines, most of them still have, of 582 fares in the continental United States, and we simplified it down to 15. We only have 15 different numbers. That, too, is Texas Class, simplicity and value.
Texas Class was aimed directly at American Airlines, Braniff's fiercest competitor. American duplicated Braniff's routes and offered more flights. If it continued unchecked, American would overwhelm the much smaller Braniff. So Putnam went on the offensive, launching a direct advertising assault on his arch-enemy.
I'm getting damn sick of American letting on like they got the lowest fares when Braniff's the ones that brought them in. But you know, with the amount of money we've got to spend, which isn't a hell of a lot, we got to pump the price and the product and the message at the top. Has this thing got the new commercial in it?
Yeah. This commercial goes on the air tomorrow in all the markets, and the commercial is the combination of the hardball story, tell the truth between Braniff and American, and utilizes the music that is going your way, our theme music.
Braniff would like you to check out the difference between American Coach and our Texas Class. Now, if you want soft leather seats, check Braniff. How about more legroom? Check Braniff again. You want low, unrestricted fare system-wide in the USA? Better check Braniff again. Because normally, American only gives you low, unrestricted fares where they face low-fare competition. And it's usually competition from Braniff. Check it out and see for yourself.
That's excellent, Tony. That's right on.
Braniff needed to raise cash quickly and staged a giveaway sale. Buy one round-trip ticket, get another for $1. The sale was a huge financial success. But American was outraged. It matched the sale and made it clear it would not let Braniff steal its customers.
We believe that it is ill-advised for Braniff and for the industry, and it borders on being irresponsible. We know that you cannot exist in that kind of a competitive environment by allowing another participant to have lower prices than yourself. As long as they continue to compete with us in schedules, we will be competitive in prices.
Across town, travel agents were furious. Agents write more than half of all airline tickets sold. When Braniff cut its fares, the agents' commissions were cut too. The dollar sales sent them even lower.
We have an extremely sophisticated computerized agency. And I knew Monday morning that we had lost almost $100,000 in gross business. Now, actual cost, lost commissions, overtime, things like this, cost us almost $30,000.
Travel agents began openly questioning the wisdom of writing tickets for Braniff.
We have to worry about the fact that we are responsible for refunding of tickets. And should an airline go bankrupt, such as Braniff, for example, we would be responsible to refund to our clients the price of the ticket that they had purchased. With Braniff bankrupt, of course, we could not recover our money from them.
As if that wasn't enough, Braniff's managers had to devise a new financial plan. They had to convince creditors that the airline had a future. Chief Financial Officer Phil Guthrie.
Tomorrow afternoon, we will have a meeting with a very limited number of the key lenders to review with them the long-term business strategy. The critical point is convincing the lenders that there's an airline here that has not only a chance for survival, but can be profitable in the long term so that they can see that their debt can be earned out. We told the board that we would expect to drop an additional 3 to 6 domestic cities sometime within the next 60 to 90 days.
I think we've got the same considerations here we do with our labor negotiations. The minute you allow it to go public, people start posturing, and the more we can keep it just in-house and out of that posture, the better off we are.
It will be a highly politically charged environment because there are so many different points of view and so many different vested interests. It will be almost a diplomatic effort just to keep everybody in the same room. As George Ames from Lazard said, you know, there's plenty in there to offend everybody. I don't think there'll be one person leaving the meeting happy that they're getting a good deal.
Almost every Braniff solution brought a new problem. Employees learned from the media that half their wages would be held up because of a cash shortage. Phil Guthrie found himself fighting rumors of impending bankruptcy.
Telemeter to the employees to try and quell some of the rumors. Despite rumors being circulated as a result of the Braniff Employees Pay Deferral Program announced yesterday, we are continuing full operations with no interruption and have no plans to discontinue operation of the airline.
Public confidence was shaken again by the next day's paper, which quoted Putnam as saying he couldn't guarantee Braniff's survival. The company seemed ready to fold. But Braniff's employees weren't giving up yet. That night when Putnam returned from Washington, he was greeted not by pallbearers, but by 500 cheering workers.
They just handed me a great long list of employee signatures, and it says, on behalf of all the employee signatures below, please let it be known that we, the employees of Braniff, have not and will not give up without a fight. Therefore, world, take notice. Braniff will continue to strike back and will not go down until the very last dollar is gone, and then watch out, we just might be back.
Good evening, everyone. It was more like a pep rally for the Cowboys in the arrival of the man in charge of a nearly bankrupt airline.
Putnam became a Dallas celebrity and quickly made use of his fame in a new commercial.
Texas, we need your support. Fly Braniff now. Stand behind us in our battle to keep airfares affordable, and fight with us to maintain the extra comfort and the legroom of our Texas class. It's a tradition worth fighting for.
And it worked. Influential Dallas businessmen purchased a full-page ad pledging support. Others made commercials.
So join the fight. Fly Braniff. The Cowboys do.
Good, thank you.
The airline had to set up an office just to handle offers of help.
We need 10 more phone lines.
Well, somebody's on this line.
We did have an elderly lady call in, and she said that she wanted us to know that we were going to make it. We said, well, how'd you know? And she said, well, her best friend had told her. We said, well, who is that? And she said, well, it's the Lord. And he said that Braniff is going to make it, so y'all have no problems. And she said, I'll be sending you $25 just to help.
In March, Braniff also worked out a deal to sell its highly advertised but highly unprofitable South American routes to Pan Am.
And the architectural wonders of the vast Incan Empire.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Howard Putnam, and I'm the president of Braniff. We have been going through a lot in our company in the last few weeks, and it's encouraging to stand up here and see all of you looking this way. We're going down to Miami to meet with all of our employees this morning and to talk about the South American joint venture that we've worked out with Pan American. Thanks a lot for flying with us.
Not only would Braniff get much-needed cash from the Pan Am deal, it would also be able to reduce its payroll. In Miami, huge layoffs seemed inevitable.
We know of the emotional drain you are going through and the upsetting of personal lives, and I'm not sure I can change any of that. but I will try to tell you, as will Phil Guthrie and Ron and Bill Huskins, why we're doing what we're doing and why it's a necessity.
What I'd like to know is what you gonna do here?
In Miami.
In Miami.
You want to know if you've got a job, I think.
Yeah.
I think you can pretty well figure out what we're saying. If you have a city that has 5 round trips a day out of it, how many customer service agents, ramp agents, mechanics does it require? It's a lot less than what you got today. Is it 20? Is it 22? Is it 25? I don't know that today.
You mean to tell me that an organization the size of Braniff with a countdown less than 30 days that you can't give us actual facts and figures on what's going to happen to the Miami station and how many is going to be here, that there isn't something somewhere with a less than a 30-day countdown?
Keep in mind, it's a hard thing, but this company could have no jobs at all. We're trying to save some jobs. And whether you are a part of that 6,500 or 6,800 that I'm talking about, I recognize makes a difference as to how you look at the end result.
Why haven't you cared enough about the employees to try and make out some kind of unique package to protect us with Pan Am's hiring, maybe?
Pan American agreed to take the ground employees. They did not agree to take flight attendants in South America. They did not agree to take pilots, and they did not agree to take any employees domestically because they already have the employees and the staffing there. Our choice was have no agreement at all and end up liquidating South America and put everybody on the street, or do what we could for some and also infuse some cash into this company to try to keep part of it going. That was the alternative. Thank you all very much. You know, they don't want to believe it because management in the past, like the guy said, why didn't they do that 2 years ago? Well, yeah. I'm not going to criticize them. All I can say is we weren't here and they aren't now. Yeah. But they want to blame it on somebody. The guys that did it are gone. You know?
Braniff expected the Civil Aeronautics Board to approve the Pan Am deal quickly. But the CAB had other ideas.
In denying interim approval of the agreement, the board noted that the issue of the competitive impact of the U.S. South American market was so complex and contested that it could not now consider approving the proposal before completing an oral evidentiary hearing on the issue.
Putnam returned home stunned by the decision. Braniff had already spent the money it expected from Pan Am.
Now, at the point next week, and we estimate that it would be as early as Tuesday night, that we start becoming cash negative, meaning there's no more cash left in the till in South America, and it would require taking cash out of North America down there just to keep the operation going. We can't do that. We don't have enough of a surplus here in North America to afford to risk the operation here. So what we have told the Civil Aeronautics Board yesterday is that at the point we go cash negative, we're going to shut the whole thing down and close it down and leave South America. We have no choice because we can't, it'll drag the whole airline in 2 or 3 days if we do.
Washington was alarmed. Within a few days, the CAB members were called back for an emergency meeting. They responded to Putnam's threat by approving a new deal, this time with Eastern.
Well, what's new?
Well, we got an agreement.
You got the money in there?
The money is in the bag, yeah.
We're going to have a little impromptu over here in the next room.
Hi, Dick.
They've got
Okay.
set up.
Okay, let's go over
Right
there.
to the left.
This is a working ad. This is not the final thing. The artwork that will appear
In Dallas, there was renewed hope. If only they could attract more
that is
passengers.
the part of the ad.
Hi, you folks.
Hi, Don. Come on in.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Tom.
Diane. Hi, Diane.
We have run through it again. We're ready to go. The ad copy. Buy 2 round trips to one of these long-haul destinations for use between the 15th of May and the 15th of August. We give you a 3rd round trip to any place in the mainland for use after August 15th, between August 15th and November 15th for $1.
What's the focus of the copy?
The focus is escape and appreciation.
Does the word escape bother anybody?
No.
I'm not saying it bothers me, but does it give it any implication of bankruptcy or?
What we were looking-
Something we can have some fun with.
You're overly sensitive these days.
The only thing for us to think about is that some of our competition might come back in and try to up the ante on it and just be ready to match that in case they do.
I don't know, I'd sit down and I'd play around with this thing and play off of each other, because when you go out with this, you got one chance to do it right. Otherwise, they're going to immediately say, Christ, Braniff is out of cash again. It's another last-ditch effort.
In honor of your loyal support, Braniff announces the Great Braniff Escape Sale.
Commercials were produced and volunteers sent information to travel agents across the country.
Round trip for just $1.
I received a phone call at home at 6:30 in the morning saying, when you come in today, come in your working shoes. I think we're going to have a very, very busy day. So I dashed in and we examined the program, looked at all the rules and regulations, got the office organized, got everybody on board and saying, let's be ready when the doors open at 8 o'clock so that we can take on the onslaught. Well, here it is, a Thursday afternoon, and we're still waiting for the onslaught.
3 days later in Fort Worth, a country and western club threw a party for 5,000 Braniff employees. Every one of these guests knew that the Great Escape Sale had been a flop. Rumors spread that a flight just in from Miami had carried only 6 passengers. But only Howard Putnam and Phil Guthrie knew just how bad the situation had become.
Howard Putnam.
When are you going to come over there and freight seats?
Well, one of these days. No, I'm not ignoring you. We have a few other things we've been doing. So we'll get there someday.
Okay.
There's a lot of places we haven't been yet.
There I am at Billy Bob's trying to be happy to all the employees, and you can just see the loads are going to hell.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your chairman of the board. Here's Howard Putnam!
Since this is a fun evening and you all deserve a little bit of fun after what everybody has been through in the last few months, I'd just simply like to say that we really appreciate all the support you've given the management team, and the improvements are tremendous. The costs are coming down. Texas class is being accepted. We're going to do it. Good night. Thank you.
Friday was terrible. We had like a 48% load factor last Friday when you ought to have 65 on a Friday. Saturday was like 30%. That's why I made my speech so very short that night. Then I went to New York on Monday night to testify in that trial. On Tuesday, the pilots sued against us. And when I called Guthrie at noon, we were running I think, 30% load factor that day. And Phil said, we can't get through the week. And we've run out of, the next thing you do is you go out and try to get all the employees to get half their payroll. Well, hell, we know what happened the last time, the publicity. So we came to the conclusion, I think, on the phone that we better have a board meeting, which we did last night. Better get the attorneys down here from New York and let's get on with it.
Braniff immediately began parking its airplanes. Thousands of passengers were stranded. Even Braniff's own pilots and flight attendants had to find other flights home. At 12:01 a.m. on May 13, 1982, Braniff became the first major airline in United States history to file for bankruptcy.
Ferguson had a call from Midland, small businessman who does our janitorial work. He said, I got one of your checks yesterday, and I put it in the bank, and I paid my employees yesterday. And what do you suggest I do? We're sorry.
Did it bounce, you mean?
It will bounce. And he was saying, I'm going to lose my business.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard me compliment the Braniff employees before. They fought a very tough battle. They're a very dedicated group. They have gone through pay cuts and pay deferrals. They've supported us. They've worked as volunteers. And what we had to do last night was very difficult, not only for us, but for them. It's a shock to them, I know. There is no payroll. They were taken off the payroll as of last night. The payroll, the checks that are out there now will not go through. There is no cash to support them.
Could Putnam have avoided bankruptcy? Probably not. Harding Lawrence's strategy of expansion, coupled with the recession, had fatally weakened the company. Braniff could never get beyond the daily struggle for survival. When there wasn't enough business to go around in the airline industry, something had to give. It was Braniff. Within 2 weeks of Braniff's bankruptcy, American and other competing airlines announced major fare increases. Braniff never flew again. Although its assets were $650 million, its liabilities were $1.2 billion. 10,000 employees lost their jobs.
This program was presented by WGBH-TV, which is solely responsible for its content, and was made possible by grants from the Dun & Bradstreet Corporation, Merrill Lynch Pierce Fenner & Smith Incorporated, Arthur D. Little Incorporated, Charles E. Culpeper Foundation, the Arthur Vining Davis Foundations, and the William & Mary Grieve Foundation. Enterprise is co-produced with Learning Corporation of America. For information about program availability, write Enterprise, Box 9665, New York, 10249.